Start the timer.
Dave, thanks for doing this, man.
No problem. Well,
Are you okay with us using this recording of your story publicly?
yes, I am.
Can you or anyone that you may mention in your story face legal prosecution or get into trouble for anything that you share?
Not to my knowledge.
Fucking all right. I don't know. I don't think so. But yeah, thank you for that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start my timer. Just identify however you want. And let's see. Where's my fucking I got you. I got you.
Wait. Say when.
I had it on my timer. I need my stopwatch. All right. So it's all you, man. You can take off whenever you want.
Thanks. Well, my name's Dave. I'm an alcoholic and an addict, and I appreciate you guys for having me on. A little about myself, 57 years old, born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, and one of 5 children. We're all in recovery. Well, we all were in recovery. My mom was in recovery, so I hate war stories, but growing up, it wasn't bad, you know, the usual party bullshit on the weekends or whatever and holidays, and then it just progressed and got worse. As little kids, we'd steal drinks, you know, and we thought it was funny. About the age of 10, I started drinking more and more. By the time I was 12, I was really hitting it. And life at home got bad because, like I said, mom and dad were both alcoholics. Dad was the happy drunk, you know, and mom was, she was the periodic alcoholic, bro. I used to call her a mooner. When there was a full moon out, you know, shit was going to hit the fan. And my poor father, that's where the emotional trauma comes in for me in my childhood. My mom got real violent, man. She would beat him to within like an inch of his life. And as a little child, I had to like step in and protect him. So that's why the drinking started progressing for me. My older sister's 12 years older than me. She's a Woodstock baby. So I seen all of that. And I always kept saying, I'm never going to do this. I'm never going to do this. But yet somehow I found myself doing the same shit they were. By the time I was 14, mom comes up to me after beating Pops up. And he left to get the hell out of there because he didn't want to get beat up anymore. I'm like, yeah, it's about time you left. And says, why do you always protect him? He ain't even your dad. I was like, damn. So that took me for a blow. I let a couple of days go by and I asked my older sisters and I found out to be true that he wasn't, but he's my dad because he came into my life when I was 3 months old, you know, so that's Pops. By the time I was 16 years old, at 15, mom moved out because she brought another man home. And again, that ensued another fight. Me, my brother, and my pops after the guy. Of course, we won. Mom leaves with him and then asks me who I want to live with. And of course, I picked dad. So by the time I'm 16, dad can't hack it with the bills. So now I got to quit school. I mean, I wasn't fucking going anyway because I was cutting out the back door, going in the front door and out the back door in junior high school. I get into high school, I'm 16. And I quit just before I made the 11th grade. And I went to work and I was making more money than he was. So now I'm the big shot on the street and because I make the money and I was off to the races. I'm working with people 10 to 12 years older than me in the restaurant business, and I had arrived. You know, I'm hanging out with restaurateurs, bar owners, and I was accepted. Nobody ever questioned my age. That lasted for about a year until I was 17, and then I said, man, something's wrong because I started blacking out behind my drinking and drugging, you know, and my drugging started off innocently with pot, you know what I mean? Everybody says, oh, don't do nothing. You know, well, pot does something to you. Because then it led to cocaine. Then it led to whatever the hell you had and you gave me, I tried it, you know. But I started blacking out and not knowing how I was getting home or not getting home and waking up on people's lawns and shit or in alleyways. And so at 17 years old, I said, you know, I got to do something about this. And mom was already sober a year by then. I said, I ain't going to that AA thing, because I went to 1 or 2 meetings with her. And I said, this ain't for me. I'm too young because there's a bunch of old son of a bitches in there like I am now. I joined the military. I went into the Army. I did my 4 years. And I knew in the Army, well, they're going to make you a man. You're going to be responsible. And yeah, I got that. And I took to that for the first 3 months of my training. But I got in a little bit of trouble here and there, so they put me on what they thought they were punishing me, KP duty, which is kitchen patrol. So I know my way around the kitchen because I just came out of the restaurant business. I fit right in there, and where does all the drugs and booze come from? The cooks. It comes in with the food deliveries. So I was back home again, but I said that, yeah, I got to be careful. I'm government property. They piss test you and shit. I don't want to get caught and get thrown in a freaking Leavenworth or something, or worse yet, get thrown out and be disgraced. So I get through that. I coached through that for 4 years. Supposed to go to Germany, supposed to go here, supposed to go everywhere. The only fucking place I ever went was Bumfuck, Georgia, and stayed there. I didn't go nowhere. They made me cadre. I became an instructor. I was an armorer, so my love was weapons. So I got to play with weapons all day and teach people how to use them. And I skated for 4 years. What did I do? I'm 21 years old now. I come back home to Brooklyn, New York. I'm in uniform. Where's the first place I hit? The bar. And everybody's buying me drinks and the drugs are flowing. And I picked up right where I left off 4 years ago, man. Forgot the whole reason why I went away and why I did that. Like I said, war stories, but I got quite a few minutes here. So I jumped in and out of jobs because I couldn't find my spot. Because when I went in the military, I didn't go in for a career. I went in and I became a soldier. So I learned how to kill people and blow things up. So where the hell were they going to get a job doing that? So I said, I'll become a cop. Half my family were police. I passed the exam, I got in, and I was in there maybe 2 weeks in the academy, and then I got thrown out. Because what I didn't know was I was partially deaf in my right ear from training in the military, so they couldn't accept me. So I'm like, all right, another rejection. So what do? I drink some more and drug some more on top of that. Went in and out of jobs. I ended up landing a job with a private sanitation company here in New York, and I'm making... I'm 57 years old, so you're talking 36 years ago. I'm bringing home $800, $1,000 bank in my pocket every week, so I'm good to go. I didn't have to worry about bills. I still had money to party with, but yet somehow I got in hock. I don't know what happened because I don't remember the night that well, but I passed out driving this freaking truck, and it weighs 40,000 pounds empty, man. Full, I can weigh 80,000 pounds, which is 40 tons. The heaviest I ever weighed was 41 and a half tons. If I hit you, you're dead. And I don't remember being behind the wheel of this shit. We had a new guy on the truck. Supposedly I dropped him off at his home somewhere in Brooklyn. The next morning, they found the truck by the dump that had closed on the borderline of Brooklyn and Queens. Truck was parked on the sidewalk. I laugh at it now. I was laying in the middle of the street, my pants leg cut open. They take me to the hospital. I wake up 18 hours later in the hospital, not knowing where the hell I am or what's going on. So right away I'm belligerent and I want to get the hell out of there. The doctor comes, security comes, and they tell me I'm an OD victim. I said, OD on what? I never stuck a needle in my arm. Well, you got a needle mark in your arm. I said, well, you better go talk to one of your nurses. I don't remember putting a needle in my arm. Not that I haven't put it in other people's arms for them because they were shaking like a bitch. Needless to say, they did a bunch of blood work, and what I OD'd on was alcohol. I had acute alcohol poisoning. And the doctors, and of course, I didn't believe them. I wanted to leave. And that's when I got locked up because I'm a ward of the state. And it's for my own safety. They handcuffed my ass to the bed. He goes, we're going to do one more blood test just to be sure. I'm like, how much blood tests are you going to do, man? You got your answer. But I stayed there. So it's probably like a 36-hour period. And he came back to me. He goes, you're lucky you're alive. You died. I said, what? He goes, yeah, you flatlined, dude. We had to shock you back to life. I went, you're full of shit. No, he wasn't. But I got the records to prove it. So that scared me for about a week or so. Needless to say, I lost that job. With sanitation, they didn't take kindly to having their truck parked on the sidewalk and their driver laying out in the middle of the street. And like I said, so what did I have left to do? I'm already doing drugs, so why not sell them? And that got me in the jackpot, man. So I did that for a while. Up until the age of 24 years old, and then working here and there on and off the books and doing whatever the hell I could. And My cousin came up to me, he was a cop, and he handcuffed my ass, he threw me in the car, took me down to a park here locally, told his partner to get out. He got in the back of the car, threw a bunch of pictures on the seat. He goes, when are you going to stop, stupid? They got you. He goes, we can't help you no more. I said, all right. So I got in an argument with my then old lady at the time. And so I said, screw it. I would, another sanitation company picked me up, had me just shaping up here and there when they needed a guy. I was supposed to go to work. Of course I didn't. I go in the bar, I start banging them back. My old lady walks in. So we make up, and I'm bending down to plug the dartboard in. And out of the corner of my eye, I see my old lady go flying into a wall. So my natural reaction is to jump up and swing in defense. I don't know, these guys are cops. You don't come into a biker bar freaking with no badges on. They raided the place, and they were coming to get me and the guy I was dealing for. Needless to say, I got thrown in jail. They said they were going to release her. That's after the cops beat the shit out of me. And of course, mom to the rescue, because she's sober now, and my girlfriend had some money on her. They put up my bail. I was able to get out after being locked up for about 2 days. And I said, I got to try this AA thing. You know, and I told my dealer, you got to stay away from me because they're after you. I'm not ratting you out. I'm not saying nothing. You know what I mean? Just we got to part ways, brother, because I'm facing 8 1/3 to 15. I said, I go on the inside, I'm gone, man. I can't do this. So I come into AA, I'm 24 years old. That was October the 9th, 1988, 33 years ago. I was doing good for a while, you know what I mean? And this is the recovery part. They said get involved. Well, I got overly involved. You know, you got to be careful what you do in the program. I had a commitment every night of the week, making coffee, greeting, being the secretary, whatever the hell you wanted me to do. And the reason I did that was because look how good Dave's doing. Look how good I look on the outside, because you can't know what's going on inside. So that's what I did. And things were going all right for a while. You know, I had a sponsor, and he didn't want to do nothing about the book or the steps. He knew where there was a damn sober party every weekend, and that's what I did for like the first year. At the 14-month mark on December the 20th, 1989, I was 14 months sober and my mom died. I hated you people in the rooms. I hated God because he was a damn liar. And I never had a problem with God, you know, coming in here. But I don't know how I made it another 5 months after that. I made it to 19 months. And I went out and I drank and I tried to kill myself. I forgot that part the first time. I tried suicide one time before. And tried killing myself. I wake up the next morning and to my then old lady, and she's packing the shit and moving out because that's what I asked her to do. That's the pact we made. We were both sober. I said, if any one of us ever drinks, we got to separate because that's what you're supposed to do. Or at least that's what I was told you got to do. So we did that, you know, and I went right back up to the clubhouse with my tail between my legs. I'm sitting there in the chair with my head down, and my sponsor walks up to me, goes, what's the matter? I said, I went out and I drank. He goes, okay, and? So what do you mean, okay, and? I was offended. He goes, do me a favor, stand up. So I stood up. He goes, turn around. Turn around. He kicks me in my ass. So what the hell is that for? He goes, you've been doing steps 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. He goes, when are you going to start looking at yourself and do 4? So immediately I said, nah, this ain't for me. We got to go back through the first 3 steps again. So that was my excuse not to do step 4 again. Needless to say, I went out 5 times in the first 6 years of my recovery. You know, and each time I went out, my time coming back got shorter and shorter and shorter. Like I said, the first time was 19 months. Then I had a little over a year. Then I think maybe I had 9 months. Then shit, I was lucky if I could put 30 days together. Or I was coming to meetings and lying and saying, yeah, I got X amount of time and going out and drinking. So that's what I did. Finally, on April 16th of 1994, I was working, delivering, driving a truck again, me in a truck. I don't know what's with me in trucks, but I'm doing appliance deliveries and I'm robbing them left and right. I made amends to them. I walked into this bar. It was a Thursday night. I was DJing on the side, and it was a percussion night. And they said, you start off at 50 cents for pints of beers. So the bartender slid a beer down the bar. I said, shit, it's going to hit the end rail and tip over. I grabbed it, swigged half of it, went to the bathroom, washed my hands, looked up into that same mirror I've looked up into I don't know how many times, and I said, you stupid son of a bitch, you're doing it again. Came back, and that was on April the 15th. April the 16th, I walked back into the room. I grabbed my sponsor, and he goes, "You did it again, right?" I said, "Yep." He goes, "You ready?" I said, "Yep." And right then and there, I did my 4th step with him. And he said, "All right, we got to do the 5th step." I said, "I don't want to do the 5th step," because that's what I was really afraid of, doing the 5th step, admitting to myself, to another. Well, I didn't, not myself, because who knows me better than me, but admitting to another human being the exact nature of my wrongs. Oh, shit, no. He said, "Dumbass, you just did it with me. You let me read your 4th step." I said, "Oh, okay." Me being spiritual and being religious, I had to go take it into my church and do it with a priest that was just for me, because it helped me. And I just went on from there, man. I went to the next step, to the next step, to the next step. Hell, I went through the first 12 steps. I probably in like 90 days, and people say, "Oh, you're crazy. How can you get a comprehension of that?" I had been around 6 years already, you know, with the exception of going out 5 times, but I don't count and say I got 33 years. No, I've been in recovery for 33 years. I got 27 and a half freaking years of sobriety, clean time. That's just for me. I know people who do it differently. Whatever way you get sober, man. I mean, people do it through podcasts like this. People do it through IG. People do it through therapy. I've been in therapy. People go religious route. For me, I'm an old school AA. I went to NA. NA didn't work for me in the beginning. It's different now, because back then there was like a rivalry. It was like, "Yo, you're an AA, you can't come to NA." And now I attend CA meetings. So what do I do today to stay sober? I go to meetings. And with this COVID shit the last year, it was hard, man. I'm a chairperson of a meeting, and I run a meeting, an in-person meeting. We close down, and it's at my church. And it's like, I don't know when we're going to open back up because of restrictions due to the church. So there were other meetings open up in the area, and so I do them. I go to them. I get on here. I do this. I ask to speak wherever. I don't care what format it is, whether it's in person, whether it's on Instagram, whether it's in a Facebook community, whether it's writing my story out and giving it to somebody in the hopes that somebody will get something that I said, you know, because you see that I wrote a poem called An Awakening. You know, I had to find the darkness in order to see the light. You know what I mean? Because I was lost. You know, there's a song, Amazing Grace, that saved a wretch like me. You know, you can never be too low to be saved. You know, and I couldn't believe that, because I remember laying in the street and laying in the gutter and people reaching their hand down to me to help me. Not to help me out, but to literally help me. Can we help you? And I'd smack that shit away, because my pride and my ego. You know, I had to let that go. One of my sponsors, may he rest in peace, he said, instead of just saying let go or let God, he used to say let go or be dragged. And I said, what the hell do you mean let go or be dragged? He goes, if you don't let go of your past, it's going to drag you back. See, I can't forget my past, but I can't live in it and idolize it, you know. So I keep both feet firmly planted in AA. And since then, I've gone back to my church. You know, when I first got sober, I jumped around from church to church, spiritual, I used to say I'm spiritual, I'm not religious. Well, I'm both, because to me, they go hand in hand. So I got back in my church, and believe it or not, now I wear this hat. I became a freaking chaplain. Who would have thunk it, man? Me, a chaplain. I'm a crisis chaplain through the state of New York. So if there's a crisis, I get called and I go to pray with people. And I'm like, me? You know, there was a line in that poem that I wrote, when you think you've come to your end, please give God a try again. I don't know why people have a problem with God. I did, so I can understand that part. Because when I was out there, if those blue lights came on, or well, here in New York, they're red and blue. If they came on behind me from a cop car, I'd be like, oh God, please don't let them pull me over. Or if I was sticking my money through a hole in the wall, God, please let something come back out. Oh God, I always went to God to get my fix. So why can't I go to God to get my fix in recovery? You know, I don't for this old guy, I don't comprehend shit like that. But I go to God today, man. That's where I'm at in recovery. Because it says somewhere in the big book that there's going to come a time and place in my sobriety that no person, place, or thing is going to keep me from getting drunk, except my spiritual condition. And how do I keep up on my spiritual condition? By living in 10, 11, and 12, by doing a daily inventory, by praying and meditating. I'm not too good with the meditating because I don't like to listen all too well. But to me, that's what meditating is. I try to find a place to sit and be quiet. I happen to work for a bunch of Franciscan brothers, and we have our own chapel at my job. So when you can't find Dave, they know where I'm at. Dave's in the chapel, and I'm sitting there and I'm praying. But I say my little prayer, and then I just get quiet. And sometimes I'm sitting in there for hours, and they don't bother me. I'm like, this is cool as shit. So, but I got to be careful with that because I'll use that as an excuse to escape doing work. Because I know me, I'm an addict, man. I look for the easiest off the way. This is the easiest off the way for me. Staying sober. Is there, Marty says it all the time. I know you guys are good friends with Marty. He says, is there another drunk in me? Yeah, there is. Is there another recovery in me? Yeah, is there another recovery in me? I don't think so. And I don't want to find out, you know? So I stay connected to people like you guys and to people like Marty and everybody else on the IG community. It's a new thing for me because at first I was like, I'm not too comfortable with this. But COVID forced my hand. See, and God for me works in mysterious ways. I found a whole new community. See, when I travel for a living, I said, yeah, I got friends all over the United States. Shit, I got more friends now than when I travel. I haven't met you yet, but you're still my friend. Because there's a motto in AA, when anyone anywhere reaches out for help, I want the hand of AA to always be there. You know, and that's what I try to do. You know, I try to live this life, not just because sobriety and recovery are two different things for me. You know, I have to live a sober life in my recovery. You know what I mean? Because the recovery is to come back from a hopeless state of mind, which I have on some days and some days not, you know. But today is better than any day when I was out there, man. It just is, you know, and I hope somebody can get this. You know, because it's there, it's readily available, you know, and I don't care what way you get it. I'll skip down the damn street with you and help you get there, you know. So I appreciate you guys having me on, man. Thank you. Yep. Yeah, so if you guys want to follow me, I'm MYDave564 on Instagram. In any way I could help, I'm there for you.